What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Chaos Bro for those that are new, and we've got some exciting new decks featuring the brand new card Beta Bill. Alrighty, guys, so we're gonna go ahead and get into the deck breakdowns. I've got two awesome great decks that we've kind of brewed up for you guys, but before we do, if you guys can, please don't forget to like and subscribe, as I work very hard to bring you daily Marvel Snap content. And yeah, so there are two different builds here. Now the first one, I'm going to go over real quick what my game plan is for this and, kind of showcase what we're going to be doing with it. Keep in mind, everything that I've done, more or less, is just kind of brewed it myself. This first deck, I actually required some help for a change from a non-creator. He's a friend of mine that I talk to sometimes in the Marvel Snap Discord voice chat. His name is Babu, and he is an exceptional top 50 player. He doesn't care to do content, but I reached out to him. I said, hey, I have this really cool idea I want to aim for, but I need some help brewing some, additional cards in this deck. So, more or less, I'm going to call this deck Hit the Hammers. It's kind of a pun based on HITMONKEY and all the Thors and hammers that are going to be occurring in this deck. So basically the premise is that if you don't draw the Thor, you have a HITMONKEY and you can kind of slap him down. If you end up drawing the Thor or the, Beta Ray build by turn 4, you can play that down on turn 4. And then basically what your game plan is that you kind of keep them separated, and then you basically play Jane Foster on turn 5, and then you're going to have a bunch of 1 costs. And then here's the kind of part that's going to make it very interesting and very fun. You're going to basically play all of those cards on the HITMONKEY lane with the Odin. And so what's going to happen is you're going to have about maybe 2 or 3 extra cards on top of the Odin, and it's going to reactivate that monkey. So the monkey and Odin plus the additional hammers essentially really work on their own, and they kind of buff in that lane. HITMONKEY and Odin is a good substantial amount of power. On top of your Thor and Beta Ray Bill, possibly one or the other, or sometimes even both, essentially get really big. You're going to kind of aim to hope that your opponents usually play the magic if you really want to get the most out of this deck. But we have kind of a curveball in this one. Me and Babu were talking, and we put Legion in the deck. I really think that with a lot of the She-Hulk meta, a lot of people do use the card Legion, and when you get these hammers from Jane Foster, you can kind of rob them of their Legion, limbo plays and these turn 7s, and you basically plop down all the hammers on top of the Legion, and you kind of rob them on a turn 6. We've got some other interesting cool cards like Forge, kind of giving the 1 cost viability. He could kind of just be used in so many different scenarios. You can use him for HITMONKEY, Thor, you can use him for the Beta Ray Bill. You also have the Grandmaster iteration where you can reactivate these things. Also, another really cool iteration is the Nico. The Nico is really good in this deck because it's going to allow you to do some extra things like turning those extra 1 costs or 0 costs and getting those abilities out, turning them into demons. Sometimes even getting copies of the Mjolnir when you play them if you want to play it early. You can, get the Stormbreakers. There's a bunch of different, ins and outs that Nico has that just kind of offers as a source of tech. The other thing is we have Zabu, and we only have about 2 4 costs in this deck. We have the Beta Ray Bill and the Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi right now in the current meta is just an awesome card, but the Zabu allows you, in case you don't pull that Thor, you are able to get that Beta Ray Bill out early, and that's just a really nice flex that you can kind of put out. Getting him out early gives you some, viability and some room to put in things like HITMONKEY or, if you draw the Thor out later, and it just has a lot of nice flex spots. Keep in mind, this deck does have some wiggle room. If you want, you can replace the Legion. Legion is really the most flexible card in here if you want to swap them out for cards like maybe another 0 cost like Yellow Jacket. You can swap them out for Enchantress. That was actually one of the cards we really were thinking about putting in here. You can even do something like a Luke Cage if you really want. But essentially, Legion is just a card that you flex and you really kind of want to figure out, whatever works best for you if you don't have him. So don't feel bad if you don't have him or Grandmaster. They can be essentially mixed and matched in a different couple of ways. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into the other deck. So here is the other deck, and this deck, we're going to be calling this one Ragnarok, because Ragnarok essentially is the term for when, Thor's home, Asgard, becomes destroyed, and Ragnarok is the place when you kind of destroy things and it goes to junk. Basically, the premise of this one is we have a Sentry and a Nihilus, and we've kind of brewed up some really cool combos in this deck. We've got the Zabu, we've got the Thor, we'll have the Beta Ray Bill, we'll have the Jane Foster and the Shang-Chi as our source of big cards. We have the Hitmonkey just because we want to reproc things with the Grandmaster at times. But there's some catches to this that work really well. We have the Yellow Jacket that actually works really well with the hood. You can reactivate that and basically put that down. You can make things even cheaper, like you can make the Grandmaster cheaper, you can do stuff like that, and then essentially you can do an Annihilus to flood their board whilst keeping really solid stats on your side of the board. This deck is kind of experimental, and we thought it would be really fun to put it together. When we were originally brewing the other deck, we thought to use Sentry because we'll fill up one side and just Sentry wouldn't use it, and then we kind of thought, well, why don't we just slap down Yellow Jacket anyway, since it's a 0 cost. We put the hood in there, and then we just kind of figured, well, Yellow Jacket can kind of just lessen a lot of cards in here and just, put that on their side of the board. Plus, not to mention the Nico, even for this deck and for the other deck, have some really awesome features where you can essentially get rid of a card and still draw extra cards, which is phenomenal. And I think that this deck is actually going to be pretty damn good. If Beta Ray Bill ever goes to a 3 cost, which I don't think he ever will, this deck, in my opinion, would be a god tier deck. It would really be phenomenal. But with that being said, we're actually going to feature one more deck, and that is the Lockjaw. So let's go ahead and scoot on over to there. Alrighty, so here we are with the Lockjaw build. Now, keep in mind, this is a pretty straightforward build. You're going to be seeing a lot of other people pretty much playing Lockjaw with the Thor and Jane Foster and, the new Beta Ray build card because, well, Thor and Jane Foster have a home with the pup himself. And, they just really work really well because you are able to have those 0 cost cards, go into Lockjaw, pull out something great. And what we did here is that essentially we made some modifications. The Kyera and Scar package alongside the other 6 cost, cards are really nice and really flexible. They feel really great together. And we went ahead and threw in Odin because, well, sometimes you're going to be able to hit that Odin on top of all of the hammers if you Jane Foster all of them, and it's just going to work really, really well. You can basically pretty much put out a turn 3 Lockjaw and Wasp if you don't have a Thor in hand. If you have the Thor in hand, I'm always a big advocate of always putting out Thor early before the Lockjaw if possible to put that hammer into rotation into the deck. Basically, if you're able to get that, turn 4 Thor or essentially Beta Ray Bill, and then into that turn 5 with Jane Foster, this deck is going to allow you to just give you so much power in so many different lanes. Keep in mind that Kyera does not protect the Thor or the Beta Ray Bill, but your last turns, you're going to have cards like Odin at your disposal, Magneto, you're going to have Scar, you're going to have She-Hulk. And these cards are going to come out of basically either Lockjaw or they're going to basically come from your deck. But at the end of everything, you're able to put cards into Lockjaw like a Wasp, and then maybe, if you have that extra wiggle room, you can put in the hammers in the middle lanes or wherever you feel is comfortable with the Odin, and it's going to allow Thor and Beta Ray Bill to get really, really, really big in numbers. This is a roulette deck at its finest, but it's been proven that Lockjaw decks have always been around in the top meta. I anticipate that this deck will be one of the most common and most popularized decks amongst itself. amongst a lot of other players. So be on the lookout for this one, and be ready with those Shang-Chis and Enchantresses to counter this deck if you are trying to play it. But with that being said, guys, if you guys can, please don't forget to like and subscribe, as I make daily content for you guys every single day. I will be streaming around 2 p.m. Pacific time, basically featuring all 3 of these decks. And for those that don't know, when I stream, I don't typically try to play the best deck. I always try to aim to do the funniest or the most explosive plays that you can try and see. I sometimes even farm my combos because, well, sometimes it's about the entertainment, and it's about the laughs, and it's about the big brain things that it takes millions and millions of tries to go over. I like to call myself the Captain Falcon of the Marvel Snap community, in the sense that I just go for the raw knee and you know, pray that we go for the execution for the, you know, for the people. So with that being said, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will catch you guys tomorrow. Hope you guys have a great day, and let me know if you are going to get Beta Ray Bill in the comments. All right, guys, peace. Hey, you made it to the end of the video. If you guys can, please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.